We good to begin?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of start off with I already gave you context on why I'm doing these things, and just wanted to know about your journey, what it's been like after design school. I know you've kind of worked as a worked in radio, also in Mumbai Mirror. I just wanted to understand what kind of made you pursue design, and what then made you eventually move to starting your own design studio.
Oh, wow. We're going way back.
Yeah, from the beginning.
um, from the beginning. So I was a science student. My parents were doctors.
Okay.
So I took up science and I was at Ruparel College in Bombay pursuing science, which is it's a very focused college on people who get into either IIT or medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I won a radio show there, a college radio competition there.
Yeah.
I got selected and to represent Ruparel, and then I won for best script. And so that set me off to think about media as an option because I didn't really enjoy physics and chemistry that much. Maybe I would have been a good doctor. Anyway, so I got into BMM, Bachelor's in Mass Communication.
Yeah.
So you're right. I did host my own radio show back as a student, and it was really great for 6 months of that.
Yeah.
It was called College Radio. But that wasn't. Yeah, that was it. Sort of set the ball in motion. Then I was in Wilson College studying BMM for 3 years. Wanted to be a journalist, so started writing for Mumbai Mirror. Started also writing for MTV's website.
Right.
And that's how I got introduced to MTV. And when I went to their office, and any kid who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, like, what? I'm here. And I met all the VJs and everybody was like right around me. Nickelodeon's office was also, it's the same space, Nickelodeon, VH1 and MTV. So it was like a playground. And I was like, I have to work here. Adopt me. So that was my first job, writing, reviewing reviewing movies and music for MTV's website, which is a dream job. I get to go for films and get to trash films and for free and get paid for it. After that, though, when I was at MTV, I also discovered the design team, and because we were in BMM, you basically learn little bit of everything. BMM is in mass media, for those who don't know. And so I started hanging out with the design team, making my little portfolio on the side, and then basically applied when I graduated, applied to work for them. By some divine intervention, they actually gave me a chance to intern with them. And then I worked with them, and that's how I got into design. So that's my very strange and convoluted journey to design.
And then after MTV, was it Landor or what agency? You jumped into another agency? Saffron
Brand Consulting. So MTV was 2 years, and basically I was like, okay, I used to love storytelling, right? So I used to like writing, and then MTV gave me motion graphics, so I could animate and tell stories, and then brands would be like basically storytelling in the real world. So for me, it was like another way of expressing, and I was very fascinated by branding. So then I joined a studio called Saffron Brand Consultants, which is a Madrid and London based studio, British and Spanish studio, headed by none other than Ollins. I don't know if you've heard of Wally Ollins. Michael Wolff and Wally Ollins started Wolff Ollins. So Wally Ollins started Saffron Brand Consultants. So that was my second job. I was the first designer to be hired for the India office, and we did the branding for the state of West Bengal. Wally is also he's known as a place branding guru. He's done Visit London, he's done Lithuania, he's done Estonia. He's done a lot of like place branding. So I learned a lot about how to brand with culture in mind, and all the MTV had culture in it. I'd learned how to make these cool. So I think it just my whole career sort of snowballed into understanding how culture can be a vehicle to express design, and how design and culture are basically inherently interconnected, and how to sort of pull from culture to build great brands, So yeah, that was Saffron, and then I was at Landor. After Saffron, I joined Landor Associates, which was amazing. Worked with some legacy brands. Worked for Mahindra. Worked on Park Hotels. Worked on La Folie, Titan. Yeah,
So
all of the
what
big
did
ones.
that teach you? Like you mentioned, you worked at Saffron, and from there you understood how design and culture can then be integrated, right? Because coming from
Yeah,
MTV
yeah,
and MTV being like this big rebel brand that kind of set the culture in motion for a lot of 80s, a lot of 90s, and I grew up in the 90s. I know the impact that MTV had on all of us. So what did Lando kind of teach you when you talk about branding at a global scale? What did that teach you?
yeah. It's a very good question. Actually, I feel like MTV was fully rebel, and then
Yeah,
Saffron was half rebel because again they were Spaniards and American and British designers. So I learned
yeah,
again. I went to the Madrid office first time going to Europe. It was nuts. Like as
yeah,
a young designer to be exposed to all of that global design scene. And
yeah.
mind you, till then I had not gone to design school. So I did.
Oh,
This
this
was my
was
first
before
exposure.
you were here. Okay.
Yeah, this
Okay.
pre design school. So
So,
that was all like again,
mm,
okay, so MTV is mad, and then Saffron is mad, but still you're building brands, so you have to be a little more corporate.
yeah,
And then Landor is very behaved.
yeah,
You learn how to be corporate for the Indian audience. We were while we were doing Park Hotels and La
yeah,
Folie, we were also doing Usha Martin and Suzlon and
yeah,
like
yeah,
really like heavy duty B2B brands. So it was it really taught discipline. It taught system building. How do you build brand systems? Um, how do you create for an Indian corporation to be able to communicate to so many different subcultures across India
yeah,
and build systems for that? So that was again, it's a very important problem to solve. And I guess it's to also understand the balance between you're not an artist, you're a designer,
yeah,
problem solving, and then you're working in the corporate space because you're business developing. Ultimately, a brand is
yeah,
part of business. So
yeah.
it was very much more serious with Landor.
So, this gets me to another question that a lot of designers or a lot of creative professionals are self-taught, right?
Yeah,
And you seem to be one of those lucky ones who got the opportunity to be at MTV, which is again
yeah,
one of those
yeah,
brands that sets the culture. And I'm
yeah.
sure, like at the time you joined, you were surrounded by all these mavericks like Raghu and Rajiv and all these people who actually formed a
Yes,
lot of these IPs at MTV. And
100%.
then you moved to Saffron and Landor. So you were already in the creative scene. Then what
Yeah.
made you to go to design college? Was
Oh
it
yeah.
like
So
I
after
need a formal education?
what?
Sorry,
Sorry. So what's
was
the
it like
question?
you need a formal education, which is why you went to?
Oh, oh man. Yeah, I did. You're right. There was a massive imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So you're very right. Like Jose from,
Yeah,
Jose, he was like, he used to sit right opposite me and like,
yeah,
uh, you know, obviously Raghu and Rajiv was setting up roadies when I was there. Splitsvilla was
yeah,
happening. So it was
yeah,
really the time. Nikhil Chinappa was still around and
yeah,
it was such a fun time. But yeah, I mean, I think there is an imposter syndrome because those are background actually. Those people were background. The main people were the designers, like from JD
right,
School of Art and NID
yeah,
and when I was again in Saffron, there was people who went to Royal College of Art and
yeah,
design schools in Europe and stuff like
yeah,
that. And definitely, I do think going to design school. So I don't think it was just luck. Honestly, I really worked very, very hard. Like I
right,
worked very hard to build my portfolio, especially because I didn't go to design school.
hmm,
So I taught myself a lot. I read at that time, it was a little bit early internet. So I read a lot of books and I
yeah,
really used to go into design libraries and I remember taking a subscription of Rachna Sansal's design library just to like devour those books. But still, I think the practicality of what design school teaches you, where you just automatically know because they just
yeah,
program that into you, I felt I missed that.
mm-hmm,
And I think it's kind of like a creative confidence, right? I
mm-hmm,
think design has a lot to do with confidence. To know that what you're recommending
yeah,
has some backing and you've seen it somewhere or someone has validated, you have given a thesis, you've given a viva about something, you know how to reason this out and why it makes sense. As an untrained designer, often you know it's right, but you can't quite say why. And I think design school gives you that confidence to go forth. Self-expression is generally what you would do, but yeah, it makes you feel it's like doing an MBA. When you do an MBA, if a person who MBA doesn't really teach you business. Like people have done business even before MBA, but when you do an MBA, you can reason yourself, and the bets you're making seem more rooted. Like you are making more.
You're just validating
standing on
what
the
you
shore,
already know.
Informed bets, right? Sorry.
I was saying that you're just validating what you already know or what you already learned.
Yeah, and not from random validation. You are basically standing on the shoulder of giants, right? There are the people who you see. If you are studying design history, you know why certain things work. You know design theory. You know why certain colors work. You've done 20 projects where you've looked at market studies on a certain category. You know why this category, why tomato ketchup will always sell with the red and yellow packaging. Why can't you sell it with white? So it just, there are these there is theory, right? That design has theory. And so I do feel, either teach yourself design theory really well, which is totally possible. I'm not saying you can't be a self-taught designer. For me, it was a little bit of just, validation. And also just checking whether where I stood in the world of things.
Right.
So when I did finally go to design school after Landau, to do my master's after 7 years of working, I ended up topping my class, which again makes no difference to anybody but my Indian parents who are doctors. Like she came first in design. Nobody cares if you came first in design. But for me, it was about seeing that people who went to design school, it probably didn't work as hard as I did, because I was thirsty. 7 years, I was waiting to fill in certain gaps in my knowledge, to kind of fill in certain things I wanted to double check whether I knew it correctly. Like typography, like you can't self-teach typography. You have to, someone has to sit and teach you. It's like printing. Like, so there's certain things that you want a guru to sit and teach you. So I'm not saying, again, really the world is changing and YouTube is amazing and there's so many courses online. 100% you can do it on your own. 100%. It's also a learning methodology. Like, do you learn by doing? Do you need a teacher, or do you learn by reading? Or what is your methodology of working? So I think that was why that happened.
So then why after design school, like I wouldn't say why, but after design school was starting local and intentional thing? Or did you ever think that, okay, now that I have this kind of validation to back me up, should I go back to working for like a global branding agency to get a little more experience?
I worked more. I didn't start local immediately.
Oh, okay.
I applied to I then interned with the famous Michael Wolff. So I always joke I worked for Wolff Olins because I worked with Wally Olins and Michael Wolff separately. But Michael Wolff, so I had an option to intern with, so I was at Landor, to intern at Landor London. Or intern with the great Michael Wolff. And my boss then, she very sweetly, so I called her up and she was going to send me a recommendation for the London office. And I knew that this would lead a path to probably settling in London and a more permanent job. And Michael had said, listen, I'm retired, I'm 82. I can't offer you a job, but you can come and shadow me if you want. And she said that, you will never get that chance to sit at the feet of a guru and learn, She's like, just take that. And I mean, in hindsight, of course, that was the most magical experience of my life. He took my brain. I feel more than my design degree, my internship and working with him for the 6 months I was there. So it was a 2-month internship that turned into a 6-month thing. And I just basically kept staying on. Last few months, I said, don't pay me. I just want to keep coming and learn from you. He basically took my brain and just changed it and taught me what it is to be a designer. Like, what is it? Design living is a lifestyle. It's not about it's not a job. It's the way you look at the world, and he really changed that for me. And true to things, I didn't get a job in London. He wrote me 19 recommendation letters, but the visa I was on had such a small window. It was like Christmas time, and I had 2 months to get a job, and nobody's hiring during Christmas. It was like the most horrible situation. So I came back to India with a lot of anger, saying, like I topped my class, I worked the hardest, and yet I don't get 19 recommendation letters from Michael Wolff, and I don't get to sit for an interview. So I was very, very angry. Anyway, I came back to India and joined a startup called Culture Machine. Again, more in the space of MTV. So we were creating motion graphics, and so I got to lead their design team, which was amazing. So again, I was there for 2-3 years. Set up the design team. There are 8 channels. I learned to lead because this is the first time I had a leadership role in design, which was very different. So when you being a creative director and managing people versus sitting and designing yourself is 2 different skill sets. And I realized I'm actually really good at it. And I really enjoy people, and I enjoy sort of tapping people's strengths. So that was really fun for me to do. And when finally Culture Machine, there came a time where everything was sort of running on autopilot, and I just went to my boss then, who was amazing, and I just said, Sam, I think it's time. That's all I had to say to quit. And he's like, yeah, I think there's, he's like, I don't know what else to give you to do, right? And so that's what made me start local. Where because after that I couldn't find a studio in India. Not that there aren't, but I couldn't find a studio that was doing the kind of work I wanted to do. So I said, okay, let me just start doing the kind of work I know I have learned from MTV, but from my learnings of London, from what Michael Wolff has taught me. Like, I had this idea in mind of the kind of culturally nuanced, global level design thinking that India needed. And there was a big talk about Make in India that time. And my whole thing was like, okay, you can make in India, but how will you make in India? What are we packaging at the end? Are we just another China who's a manufacturer, or do we want to also then package India as a brand like what Korea has done or Japan had done or whatever, right? So for me, that was like the drive of the geopolitical nature of branding. And so local started out of just a whim. It was me, another designer from LCC, from the college I was in. I'd met her at the printing labs. She was a junior. She was doing her undergrad at my postgrad. And another designer. There were 2 designers in me, which is what I'm saying. For you to have 7 people at in year 3 is great. We were just 3 of us for like, I think 2 years. And then we slowly started to increase our team. Yeah.
And in terms of like getting the first few clients, was it through referrals that, Roshnee has started her own thing?
Yeah. I think even till now, Jimmy, it's all referrals. We just get awesome. Work. Good work brings good work. That's the only real way to get work.
Right.
I don't know how outbound works, and I would love to know that, but because also of the scale we are at, too much outbound also can't be managed. But I mean, I would scale up as the idea of local is to scale up when we need to, kind of it becoming like a I was thinking of it like a film set. Like if you're building a big film, you have a bigger crew. If you have a small film, you have a small crew. So I don't want my team size to dictate the kind of projects I take. I want the projects to dictate my team size. So that's how, to your previous question when you asked me before.
So I want to understand, like you mentioned that you take a lot of time. And of course, like some of the projects, because before you, I think last month I spoke to Simon Baxi as well. And a lot of branding gurus, I would call
Dixon.
it. Sorry? Simon Dixon.
Simon Dixon.
Apurva Baxi. I keep
Apurva Bakshi. Yeah.
Yes.
They're good friends.
My bad. He's gonna kill me for this.
No, it's okay. Dixon Bakshi.
A lot of them mention that they take a lot of time to kind of understand the brand, understand the problem statement. With F1, what they did, their entire team traveled to the race pit to understand how the entire history was, how the racing segment works, everything about the project before they kind of jump into design, right? And that takes a lot of time. So how do you solve for a problem where a brand doesn't have that kind of time, or that doesn't have that kind of resources? So how do you then solve for that?
We don't take those projects on. As simple as which is what I'm saying. I'm very selective because I feel like the founder or the promoter or whoever of the company has to have the commitment to do branding right.
Right.
Then we do branding right. And if they want a quick and dirty, they just want a logo, they just want design, then they can go to somebody else who can do that for them.
Right.
We are a creative, we say we're a cultural strategy and branding studio. If you don't want the cultural thinking, then why are you coming to us?
Right.
You can go somewhere else. Yeah.
And
because I do think, and I've also noticed, right, in my experience, and I'm sure, Jimmy, you've also, in the 3 years that you set up, and before that also in your work experience, that brands who've not committed now, like if they're not willing to put in the work now, once your brand is launched, also they will not take it to that level. Right? So the reason our projects work, the reason Zouk works or Dr. Shade works, because they put in that work while we were branding, and then they care because they've done the work with us. They've been in the pits with us. They've let us do the research. And then when they take it forward, it's like a, it's that same rubber band. Like it will go that much forward. They will not mess it up. When they launch, when they do the go-to-market strategy, when they take the brand to the next expansions, they will make sure that it's done right, because they know the genesis has been done with intent.
Right. And they put in that.
But someone's gone. If you got a brand, it's like fast fashion. You bought it quickly, you will throw it. No,
of course.
But if you spent like your half your time going to 20 shops and really going to the tailor and stitching it and getting your sherwani made or whatever, then you make all custom shirts. You take care. You iron that shirt and wear it till it's fully worn, I guess, right?
But then how do you go about learning, say you're designing for a third space or a brand that is not within the kind of culture that you're used to? What is your process about learning for a new culture or a subculture?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry?
That's a great question. I said that's a great question. We have a whole process. It's very similar to journalism, right? It's similar to interrogative journalism. We basically have created this whole sort of steps before we start designing, where we actually design our research before we design our brands. So
what do you mean by that?
We decide what to research, right? So if we are designing for something, we say we're designing for a cafe, which we did for InGoodCo for the Birlas. It was for 2 years we worked on it. So the first year was basically just us researching. Even when I was not working, when I was in Korea or Vietnam, I was researching coffee culture, third spaces. Our whole team, which is remote right now, they are all over India researching. That everybody's go out and about looking at what is happening to coffee culture. So we're also figuring out what we want to study. Because then what is this brand going to be? What is the strategy we're building for it? And what cultures you want to tap into? Like when we built Gully Labs, we were looking at how do you look at sneaker culture in India, and what are sneakerheads in India? Because they're so far removed from the hip hop culture of California, Kanye West and Yeezys, and that universe is not our truth. It's not our gully. It's not our street culture. Our street was very different from the streets of New York or streets of California, where this was born. Our rap also comes from, Dharaveen. So then we're like, okay, how do we now tell our stories through this brand? And so what are the what is the thesis we are building? What should we research? So hence designing the research is also part of it. You know what I mean?
Right. So which actually you kind of answered my next question partly. Like you work for legacy brands as well as smaller startups, right? So does the process kind of change with every brand that you take on?
That's a great question, Jimmy. No, the process does not.
The process stays the same?
Yes.
So do you look at that commitment to, even from a legacy brand with like serious leadership, to a startup brand who has just gotten into the market, or even before entering the market, they don't really know what is it that they actually need to pursue in terms of branding. So you want that sort of commitment from them?
100%. In fact, sometimes when they don't have a product market fit, I said, don't come to us.
Okay.
Because if you don't know, ideally, I suggest people coming to local once they have a product market fit. Ideally, it's not that we've not done that. Like with Dr. Shay's, we've done that. Zouk already had a product market fit. So it really depends. But it's ideal if there is some sort of we know who our TG is, because sometimes when a product launches, they think that TG is X, and then when they launch suddenly, like, oh, actually, you know what, these Y is liking it better, and they are perceiving the products. So yes, you're absolutely right to ask that question. We do need that fodder to research.
Right.
But even the time and financial commitments required to do what we do, I think a company that has that research done, or that vision of knowing where they're fitting, will only be able to want to invest in cultural branding, right? Otherwise, it's like, "Acha, kuch to logo de do, let me launch with it, let me have a look.
Yeah.
And if it works, then I'll then do a proper branding," right? So we don't want to be that. We don't want to be in a consideration set of those first guys, because we don't know what we're building. It's a waste of time for them, money, time, everything for them and for us, to build something with so much commitment and cultural understanding, where the culture might shift. They may be like, actually, it's not for it's not for this audience, for Y audience, right?
So was those kind of decisions driving your strategy from the get-go as a local as a design studio? Was it from the get-go that you decided, okay, these are the kind of projects I want to take? Because many agency runners or many founders is initially kind of think from a revenue point of view, right? And I'm sure, like, because you had a set strategy or set vision in mind, there were projects that you had to say no to. So how did you go about that? Was it like for the first few months, like, okay, we will try our hands on everything, and then probably move towards more of a vision where we want to be?
Jimmy, I mean, you are a designer yourself. So I think when a designer starts a studio, now we're a little idealistic.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
We are a little idealistic, I say.
Yeah.
Right? So from the get-go, I was like, I'm not going to do political projects, religious projects, projects that harm the environment. Like, we got a diaper inquiry, diaper brand inquiry. And honestly, I had a chat with the founder. It was such a lovely chat. It was such a lovely chat, because I said, listen, diaper creates so much waste in the world. I don't know if you guys are committing to some sort of material change in your product, then I'm happy to work with you. But I don't feel right working on something that's just. And so we parted ways at that point. And literally 6 months later, he emailed me and said, Roshnee, since we had that chat, I've actually been thinking about it, and we are developing a more eco-friendly, sustainable option for diapers. And I was like, that's amazing, right? And of course, that doesn't always happen. But yes, we have said no to projects that don't fit. But honestly, Jimmy, they just fall. It's just not a vibe fit. When these things happen, it's not like it goes very far and then we're like, oh, nahi karenge. It's not like that. It just doesn't fit.
Doesn't align
in the beginning. It doesn't align. So it's good. I feel like whatever's meant to happen happens. And now, and what happened, because you're getting work through referrals, right? They know that they're coming to you for a certain kind of thinking.
Right.
So like attracts like. There is a little bit of that. Like, you will get the kind of projects that you do. The more you do the kind of projects you do, the more projects you get with that kind of client thinking. Because clients will look at that and say, hey, I want to build the next Gully Lab. I want to build the next Dr. Shades. And so they're like, I need whatever that is. I need all of it done. Right? And no founder is going to be like, I want a half of it. I want all of it.
Right. So say you do come up across an interesting project, interesting brand that you probably which is world stage, right? And you always kind of wanted to work with something like that. What besides that is your alignment parameter to bring them on to, like, within your ecosystem?
Jimmy, see, really, it's not that every project has to have a cultural brief. I have to be very clear. We've done banking work. We've done work for Capri Global. We've done work which is, the brief is not cultural. The brief is a brief. We want a logo for X. My job is to bring culture into anything we do. So when we did the banking we did the logo for Capri Global, which is microloans. We decided to look at how microfinances affects villagers, and then how do you bring that into, how do you explain microfinancing to people who can't read? So then we created a hand system of icons where hand gestures, because in rupee,
the sign language.
Yeah, so the sign language. So it happens to have a cultural undertone because we were on the project. I'm sure if somebody else had got that brief, they would do something else.
They probably wouldn't.
They would do something else with it. Great only, but this is our thing.
Right.
So for me, it's the product I'm selling is this.
Right.
And the lens is, are you willing to go through our process? So hence the time commitment. Um, in terms of money commitment also, you have different stages for different people, 100%. There's something for a startup and then something for more established brands. But if on an international level, like we've done some museum that is cultural. Again, it's a alignment of the people who really care about making the brand something which is, we always say, rooted in the local, affecting global, right? Like it needs to have a little bit of world changing vision. Like the vision, we actually almost interviewing the founder or the CEO of the brand to see where they're going to take it. For me, because for me, all that has happened in my career where I've worked on something for so long, and then the person who was handling it didn't value it enough, and it's just dropped, and it never saw light of day. And that, luckily, I think because of this kind of lens of like finding that commitment with the founder, it has not happened in the last 9 years at Local, where I feel every single person we've worked with, even though the brand launched a little late or launched after a little bit of more funding, but then they launched and they did the job. Like they took it to the level they were supposed to take. So I'm very happy. Very few have not actually
I'm sure it could be
gone up.
upsetting for you as well and your team that you put in so much work and then it doesn't come out.
Exactly,
Right?
it's a waste. No, it's not just money. It's just all the time is, you take 6 months or 4 to 6 months minimum to work on any brand.
Yeah, that happened with us also. Like I think in the last one project that we did for branding only, and then the founder didn't end up launching that, and it really we took like about 6 months to do that, and it was kind of upsetting. So I'm sure it's the same for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the lens, Jimmy. I'm looking at the people who are behind the project. Then it could be a project for, I don't know, fertilizers for IKEA. We've done a fenestration project right now called Indie Frame. Beautiful. Windows for India. Like, again, Windows for India, you can build. Again, they didn't say Windows for India. It was called Green Fortune before. We made them change the name to Indie Frame. Like, we brought that story, India story to it, because it is a very made in India story, make in India story. So we will make it into its cultural version. And like you said, like if it's a culture we don't understand, so we've done work in Singapore, we've done work in Kenya. We have cultural researchers who will do that for us. So we will research that culture, understand it, unpack that, maybe go there as well. So all that is definitely part of our job. We 100% make that commitment. We travel to the place, we try to learn, we try to read up. I'm telling you, I'm a journalist at the end of the day. I love research, I love reading, I love getting nerdifying into, and we hire people also like that who are nerds. So yeah, I think
that's awesome. But with something that's so deep rooted in research and something that the kind of positioning that you built is trying to integrate cultures from whatever project you're taking on, right? With research, like when you think about that, it's very subjective, right? You can't put like a time box to it. You can't like tell a brand or a founder that it's going to take say 3 months. It could go it could go longer, it could be a shorter version of that. So when you can't put like a price or a time box on it, how do you price your projects?
No, of course we can put a time box in it. Of course we can. How do you think all these research agencies work? Of course, there is a fixed set of deliverables, fixed set of research.
So you say, 2
agendas.
months is the
100%.
time box.
Yeah. It's not time box also, it's a list of things we have to finish in the time box. Correct. Yeah. And there is a team who's doing that research. So if you had to do that, you set up a team and you say this research and I need these outputs, and that's going to then inform my next step. Yeah.
And you also mentioned that you managed to kind of bring that cultural lens to any brand that you take on, right? So how do you then go about convincing a founder or someone who's that close to a brand, or it becomes like their baby project, right? So someone who is so in love with that brand, someone who's totally in love with that project, to then change their way of thinking about that brand?
We are not, it's not my job to change anybody's way of thinking. The fact that they would have come to us is because they want something, right? They want answers to something that they haven't been able to crack. Because they are going through the journey with us, the research bits especially, and the strategy, they themselves arrive to the same conclusion. So for my job is not to make you wear, I always tell my team, it's like you're going to force fit somebody to wear a pair of Jimmy shoes if they are used to wearing kolhapuris, right?
Mm-hmm.
My job is to build the best kolhapuris for you.
Mm.
And express those kolhapuris in the best way. So my job is to actually do the opposite, to understand the founder's culture, their internal culture, their internal thinking, the world that they live in, the subculture that they want to be part of, and tap that.
Okay.
Nobody understands product than more than the founder. So that's that's one of the things I have a qualm with designers who are like, they're not listening to us. We have told them this, but it's not their job to listen to you. It's your job to understand them, and your job is to be able to design a system and that helps them communicate what they are to the world in the most clear and simple way through all of their touch points. That's basically what we're doing. But if you don't understand their world, what system are you designing for exactly? You can't design your own system and then try to force it on them. No, that's a recipe for failure.
So
and you try, of course, you push them. I'm not saying you don't nudge them. But if it doesn't fit, doesn't fit. It's like again, I love like the analogy with clothing because it's so easy. Like, you can't force somebody to. You can say, hey, that if you're wearing that shirt, why don't you try a jacket with it? But if the person feels hot in that jacket, sure, don't wear the jacket. Maybe I just make sure the shirt fits perfectly well, and that's fine.
So has that ever happened on any project where you've decided, okay, the person who's making decisions doesn't want to kind of take the suggestions that you're bringing to the table?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So then what happens then? Do you modify that solution, or do you just drop the client? And I'm talking about time and time again this happening, not just one off.
No, it's just one off. Doesn't happen very often. But because I said, Jimmy, if your process is to take the person along with you, if you're co-creating with the founder, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
If the minute the founder doesn't feel that they're co-creating with you, that's when it happens. Like they are taking the brand somewhere, they want to take it somewhere, and you were taking it somewhere with them, and suddenly they have pivoted, or they have never been on board in the first place, and they were just pretending. Or sometimes they're like they're on the sort of on the journey for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Very rarely it happens. Very, very rarely. But yeah.
I mean, it's natural, right? Because I feel like a lot of people come to you because it's FOMO, right? Because other people within their network are kind of doing it. So they're like, okay, maybe we should also do this.
Yeah, I think, but that's what we check for now, Jimmy. When you do an initial interviews with when you do a culture fit check with a new biz person, that's what you're checking for. You're like, hey, does this person really care?
Right.
Do they get it? Do they get why they're doing this exercise with us? Are they going to really take it forward? Is this the problem that they're solving? Like, it's also the gap of the problem that they have. And you're like, firstly, are you the right person to solve it? Because sometimes they have business problem gaps and they expect brand to solve that. So sometimes I have to just give them a heads up saying, hey, actually, this is it's a product problem or it's a business problem. It's not something, it's something a pretty logo or a nice brand strategy is going to fix. That's basically like putting lipstick on a pig, like you have the core is not sorted. And so I think in those initial interviews and sessions before we onboard a client, that is pretty cleared out.
So with so many projects,
which is why sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, you were saying something, and
I said, which is why that product market fit thing I was telling you now. It's really important. Like if the company's got their first round of funding, they've got product market fit, that somebody else has also validated that this model is valid. This product is going to run. It's sorted. Their business is sorted. Their product is sorted. The service is sorted. Then branding is here to communicate that. Right. But if you're a mess, your brand is going to communicate a mess. So it's just, brand is just an outward expression of what is happening inside, right? They need a vehicle to just talk about themselves.
And out of my question was that out of so many projects or brands that you worked with, I'm sure you faced like a set of challenges. What are these challenges that come to your mind, and how did you go about solving for them?
It's a very broad question. Can you be more narrow?
Let's take one brand, for example. Let's take Zouk. So what were the challenges that you faced with Zouk, and how did you solve for those challenges?
Interesting. Zouk is very interesting because it's not a challenge, but it was a very interesting brief where they said we don't want to stand out.
They don't want to stand
They don't want to stand out. We're like, we don't want to be the bag people stare at. We've got brands like Chumbak and stuff to do that. We want to be he had said, we don't want to be the yellow Lamborghini. We're the red Ferrari, right? We want to be a brand that you are confident carrying around in your neighborhood, in your mohalla. You're confident gifting your grandmom. You're confident carrying it to work, taking it on a train, dumping it on your office table, right? So you're basically building a classic. Like, it's your white shirt and blue jeans. So a Titan is a classic. So it doesn't stand out. It's not Swatch.
Yeah.
But it is the go-to where you don't have to think, and you just it's your default. So it's a beautiful challenge, to design a brand that is meant to blend in and not stand out, but feel solid, feel trustable, feel Indian, feel it has integrity.
Right.
So it was, beautiful brief. And that brief came also through our workshops. Like we all arrived to it again with the founder. We all sat and arrived to it together. And also arrived to it because they had found product market fit already. So they already knew who the customer was and why they were buying the bags. So when we started interviewing the customers, we also figured like, oh, actually they are seeing this as their classic. They're seeing this as their default. So then let's communicate that. Why let's not try to be something else to them that they are not.
Right.
And then again, even the founders are such. They're very humble. They're not the fashionista. It was not started by some, big legacy company. It was not started by fashionista. It was started by humble office going people. So culture works both ways. It's internal and external, right? Like what's the internal culture you want to express as well?
And has your thought about or the approach that you've taken for a brand ever been proven wrong?
I'm sure it has.
So then how does that
work?
It's too
short. Actually, it's too shorter run, because to me, like 9 years in the large scheme of things is not very long for a company.
Yeah.
Has anything gone wrong? I mean, I guess I don't know if it was a brand. See, the thing is with brand is that's the pro and con of branding, that you never know whether the brand failed or the product failed. So there were some projects, of course, like the one you were talking about as well, where the brand, yours didn't launch, but suppose ours launched, and then after a few years, it just fizzled out. We've seen some of those brands also, but we don't know if the product failed or the brand didn't hit. So yeah, I think that is a bit tough to nail down, and we have had those chats with founders as well, but it's very hard to tell.
Okay.
Because it's so multi-pronged also, right? Like that's why one can't even take full credit for branding, because it's not just the brand that worked. Like the reason all of these brands are done is because, of course, the business strategy and everything else fell into place exactly how it should have been. The brand communicated that. Yeah.
It's a mix of a lot of things. It's just not branding.
Yeah. But if you're saying that did we ever fail at communicating what the brand was? No. Because again, like I said, we've co-created with the founders. So it's not like we created anything very, very different that we stuck randomly on it. So that's not happened.
Okay.
Yeah. But this has happened where we've started working with the founder very few times, but started working with the founder within a couple months, realized that we're not the perfect partners, and then sort of.
And in that scenario, what do you do? Do you recommend someone else to take that brand on, or
we wouldn't do that, because we don't know. We ourselves haven't gotten right to how would we recommend somebody else. We don't know what that person needs. Because if we thought we knew what that person needed, we would bring that partner on ourselves.
And lately, I've seen like you putting a lot of emphasis on growing locals' own voice, right? On social media. I feel like, at least for me and a lot of people within my network, when we think about, because a lot of people within my network know local design studio, and when we think about that, we directly associate that with you. So do you think that the studio can become some separate entity without you in the center of it? And are you working towards like automation?
Yeah, 100% yes. In fact, when I first started local, for the first 2 years, I didn't have my face on the website, my name on the website, nowhere. It was just local. I had the opposite feedback where people said, hey, this studio needs an anchor. It needs a face.
Okay.
No one's going to trust a studio which is faceless.
Yeah.
Unless it comes from some big WPP or something like that. Like, needs some anchoring. And so they said, you need to build a founder profile, right? So that's where then my profile started appearing in things, and that strategy happened.
But that's kind of odd because, as you mentioned, like a lot of project work from the beginning came through you, right? And you built some sort of credibility before starting your own studio.
Yeah, that was just because 15 years you've worked in the industry, Jimmy. People just know you, and you got work like that. Correct.
Yeah.
Right? So you're right. So I was getting work because of me, but behind the scenes, Roshnee kuch chalu kiya hai. She started something. That's why we're giving work. Local wasn't known, right? And then they said, no, if you want local to be known, you need to attach yourself to this, saying, hey, this local is started by Roshnee. But yet I would never call it mine. Like I never would want to call the studio by my name. Like a lot of studios do have that. Because yes, the hope has always been to detach myself from the studio. It has to be its own thing, which runs on its own. And I think we're well on the way there. That as from a operations perspective, we've automated a lot of things, and it is working quite nicely without me on a lot of fronts. But yeah, I think, but not fully there yet. It could do a lot better. Yeah.
I read somewhere that running or starting an agency or a design studio is a great learning curve for building a bigger brand, bigger business, and when you move forward, right? So is that something on your list? Do you think that a design studio is not where you want to be, and probably eventually down the line you plan to do something of your own besides local? Because as you mentioned,
Probably.
like, yeah,
probably, yeah. I mean, the world is there is so much. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I say probably because yes, I mean, life is long, yeah. And yeah, I mean, the idea is that I feel like local is an ideology. And it would pain me if it became Roshnee. Like, I don't want it to be that. I want, what my hope was, to build the Coke studio for India, for design, right? Coke studio for design. That was my thought, where different great designers and creative people would come together with their creative minds and build brands for India.
Yeah.
That was the initial thought behind local.
That's
so
such
on that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which is why I would welcome you to come and, sort of partner with us. And yeah, I know we've tried working in the past, but whenever, like, I think also I feel like the right time comes with the right partner. So
of course,
the way local also is structured is, like I told you, our core is very small. We're a small team, but we pull in experts per project as we need them. Because then you get to work. Then you get the best minds for the project versus trying to backfit a project on a studio that exists. So that's why my hope is to eventually not detach. I would still, it's okay to have a founder recognition for a studio, but detach myself from being local. I'm not. Local is much more than me. All of this work we've done has been, amazing designers that have joined local, worked on these projects, have come as freelancers, have come as advisors, and it's like I said, my ability, what I enjoyed when I joined Culture Machine, like, to be a creative director, to be a person who can enable.
I'm sorry, I feel
things.
like the sun is really bothering you, and I wanted to bring this up about 10 minutes back, but if you want to move.
No, now it's not. It was before. Now it's fine.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that. I completely skipped my mind. I was actually listening to you, and then
no, it's fine. I would have moved. It's not too bad. Yeah, I was saying that to bring really good people to work together, kind of, what Pentagram did with permanent people and build this amazing network. I feel like you were saying, I agree with you that the design community doesn't communicate with each other. There's a lot of knowledge that needs to be shared, working styles, best practices. I think there's enough work for everyone. I don't think we're competing on the same stuff anymore. There's just so much work to be done, especially in the East. We need to, like, pair up, because no one studio can do everything. We have to kind of build beautiful nexuses and networks and work on each other's strengths. And I think that's the hope, to build our own culture as local, right? Also is, which is why there's a lot of, doing playground and doing local labs and doing all these meetups, because I want the community to kind of bond together and to become an everyday affair to live a creative life.
Of course, yeah. And I'll just give you a light question. So, what part of your job do you enjoy the most, and what do you dislike the most?
Oh man, that's a damn good question. What is yours? Can I ask you this? I have so many questions for you now.
What about my job do I like the most?
Yeah.
I feel like for a very long time, I used to suffer with this whole thing that maker versus a manager. Like it was really hard for me to kind of give up design and then focus on operations, because I feel like for whoever's running an agency, an integral part of their job is to get stuck in operations, right? You're always like problem solving. So yes, that was something that I disliked the most. But what I like is that gave room to my team to bring out what they are good at. Because for a very long time, I was the one doing it, and then when I took a back seat, my team beautifully stepped in and then started outshining what I do. That was the best part about the entire
That's amazing. Wow, Jimmy, that's so well put. Can I just copy that?
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
No,
think that stands true for you as well, right? Because the one thing that I remember about that interview, which stuck with me, was uh, you had post-its on the wall, and there were like people sitting all around and just brainstorming and problem solving, and that itself was really beautiful to see. Because after college, after design college, that's rarely something that I've seen with any of the studios that I've been to. So I think that is something that really stood out
yeah,
for me as at local.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. You're making me nostalgic. Yeah. No, I agree. I hate, you know what I hated when I still hate it. I hate being boss. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hate being boss. Because I was one of the buddies, like
Yeah.
the MTV. You're the ones who gets called out to go for hangouts and like have
Yeah.
a drink or chill out, and then suddenly you're
Yeah.
boss. No
Yeah.
one calls
No
you.
one
No
was
one's hanging out with you.
listening.
Yeah, you're like this fucking pariah. You're
Yeah.
you're the one who hired them, pays them bills, and they're like
Yeah.
you're the one who's like ousted, and you're like
Yeah.
what?
Trust me, I've
And
been there. Like
especially when you're young,
I make so much of an
you're there,
effort trying
although
to
there.
be your friend,
Yeah,
but it doesn't
exactly.
work.
And then you're like this awkward dad, or a mom. You're like, hey, take me, include me, and you're like, fuck, this is horrible. Yeah, I hated it. Which is why I think at some point I decided to work remotely, because
Yeah.
it's just even the policing of it, like who's come on time, who's gone through too many smoke breaks,
Yeah.
and people's home
Yeah.
problems, they come solve HR. Like I just hated all of that. I and I'm a person who loves traveling and designing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, okay, everybody please stay in this safe space. Of course, we also got COVID hitting us.
Yeah.
So
Of
that
course.
was for us, for everyone, so tough. And to watch
Mm-hmm.
all my team members go through that, and me having to manage clients while managing people's personal lives, which is so much more important. And I had to
Yeah.
like, it was very stressful. And so I felt that I think we're in a world where people can be in their safe spaces and personal spaces and
Mm-hmm.
still build value and kind of build local, which is, you're local to where you are, and kind of bring that,
Yeah.
you know, like almost like a remote studio all over the world. Like now, so my husband and I, we both are nomads, so we
Yeah.
travel and work. So we're actually
Okay.
heading to Korea and Japan
Oh
now.
wow.
We worked from there for a month. We were in Bali for a month. We were in
Yeah.
Iceland for a month. So
Yeah.
for me, that was all post-COVID.
Yeah.
First trip was driving into Konkan. Like we traveled from all the way from Bombay to Karwar.
Yeah.
And again, I was sitting on a beach in the middle of like really in the middle of Malwa, and
Yeah.
I had full 4G network for some reason and working off that. So for me, that was a great joy, and I didn't have to police people and be boss. I hated
Yeah.
it. So that was the bad part, and the good part is I think I enjoy. How do I put this? I love design. I think I
Yeah.
am, no matter what, I just love designing. So I love sitting and brainstorming and building new stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and I also like it when a brand that we built
Makes it.
does well, but then also I'm a little selfish in the sense that I want people to understand the kind of work that goes behind that. Like that's why also this series and stuff has started, because I don't like people thinking brands just appear, that the founders just make them. It annoys me.
Yeah.
And often, the narrative has always been there's no credit given to design studios, and it's maybe one photographer came and shot it for a day and they'll get a credit byline, but the design studio that worked on for 6 months would not get any. It makes me really, really pissed off, because ultimately creatives are also, we are we are showmen, right?
Fame
and we
hungry.
want an audience. We are fame, I wouldn't say fame hungry, I guess there is that, but there is, you want to be recognized for the beautiful stuff that came out of your creative process.
Of course, yeah.
You don't want someone else to dismiss it. Like, I think that, to me, especially in India, and I think that has changed, especially with, I have to say, I have full shout out to InGoodCo and the way they have credited us, in their, opening speech when Aryaman announced, the first thing he thanked us, thanked the interior studio, everything. Our name is on the wall permanently on their, they've put up our postcards, and like, it was just that for Birla to do that, it was such a huge deal, because there are smaller brands which should have done this a lot more, and they didn't. And for them to have that heart to do that, to share that credit and say, these are our partners for 2 years, they've built this with us.
That's wonderful.
For me, that's what I really do think people need to know, the work it takes to build good things. So that is a joy to me, when credit is given, when credit is due.
Of course, yeah.
I don't know if it sounds bad. A lot of people like, what does it matter? They paid you. I don't think we do it for payment. If I had to do my job for payment, I would have done another career. I would have picked something else, for sure, right? Like, definitely, design is not what
it's really
not
about the
is the most paid. Exactly.
I feel like for us, it's not even about the credit. Like, I have one example where we worked on a branding project, and because of internal policies at the company, the person who was the lead on the branding project from their end, from the client's end, was the person who took credit for it. And we were the ones who kind of worked on it completely.
See, isn't this wrong? I just feel it's morally wrong. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not about fame. I don't think it's about fame. Like, I have thought about this, why it bugs me so much. I don't think it's about fame. Like, I don't want everyone to know about it. But I think it's, I don't know what it is. I think it's just, like I said, I think because we put so much of our souls into it, and when it comes out in the world, you want to shout for joy. And when you're not allowed to do that, it's a bit painful.
It's odd that only happens out here, but in global cultures, I've not seen that happen so often. People celebrate agencies, people celebrate each other. It's crazy why that stark difference happens out here.
Which is why I'm trying to change it. I think that's my active effort to make sure that everybody gets credited, everybody like. And hence, like, I think doing these behind the scenes, like the series I was doing one localized about talking about how something was built, because no one can take that away from you, your process, right? You did it. Sure, no one saw it, but if you show it, people will see it, right? Then no one can unsee it. So I think it's also that I think our job is so invisible. That I think it's our job to make it a bit visible. And also, I think India in general is not like design and design thinking and design cultures and design museums is not a part of our mainstream culture yet. Right? It's still like, it's very genre specific. It's only certain people know about design. Whereas like in the UK or the US, you have design museums. Design is talked about more in the mainstream. So then people want to know who design. Like right now, fashion design is definitely mainstream in India, right? So people want to know kis design kiya, who wore this. Someone who, before even that was not credited earlier. I don't think people knew who designed fashion, but I think that fashion designers have done a great job owning their work.
Fairly because of the brand, the celebrity endorsements that come with it, right? Because I don't think branding and graphic design has that yet. So I feel like it's really endorsed by the kind of influencers and celebrities that, because fashion is that, right? Essentially. So I mean, I feel like that could be the reason. I don't know.
It comes with the territory. Yeah, maybe. But it's also, I think, a job for us to flip it on our head, right? I think it's also our job to talk about ourselves. I think Michael Wolff told me this. He said, I told him the same. Before I was like, I don't like to talk about myself, because he's actually told me that he's like, you need to talk about local. And I said, I want local to be its own thing. I'll just be the quiet, shadow behind it. And he said, no one's going to listen to you. And I said, I find it very cringe to give interviews and talk about myself. And he said, well, if you don't talk about yourself, who will? And he's right. He's like, suck it up, basically. He's like, you need to do this. You need to do this for yourself, for your business, and for your craft, right?
Yeah, that's essentially
you need to be advocate for.
Even I'm doing that same thing. I mean, even I'm a major introvert. Like, if I was given the option, I wouldn't be doing this. But yeah, it's part and parcel of the entire thing, right? If you're running a studio, you have to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not an introvert by any measure. I've always been an extrovert.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, I don't want to toot my own horn. But it takes a while until people toot your horn for you. So you need to do a little bit of tooting,
I think you've got that covered.
And there are classy ways to do that, right? Sorry?
I'm saying you've got that covered. People speak highly of local, like whoever I've spoken to. So I think you've got that bit covered.
Really? Thank you so much. I think we live in a bubble now. All of us, we don't know who talks about us. So it's like very interesting. When people say that, I get very like shy. That's when suddenly I get introvert. Yeah, there was an intern who's working with us, and she's like, everybody in my college got so jealous when I got your internship. This, that. I was like, who are these people? What is this college? Can we come and give them a big hug and talk there? Like, please invite us,
Yeah.
So we don't, it's like a famous dentist. Only nobody knows. Like, it's like we only know our own circles, right? So I think that's another thing. I don't want that to happen. I want people outside of our circles to know about design.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think yeah.
I just have the last 3 questions, and I think I've taken too much of your time, so I'm gonna just wind this up quickly.
No, this was fun. It was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was useful.
Sorry?
I hope it was useful.
Yeah, of course it was. It was. I got some great questions out, and I hope it was. I mean, I like to believe life come full circle. I was you were interviewing me, and now I'm interviewing you. So I believe like that it's come all the way.
I know.
Yeah,
look at us. How the turntables.
The second one was good enough, don't you think?
Huh?
It's not as bad as the first one, no?
I don't remember, Jimmy. Honestly, I don't remember our interview. Okay. I remember you, but I don't remember what I asked you, what went going bad. Nothing I remember.
Okay. Well,
but that's also pre-COVID, so my brain has sort of turned into mush after that. So
okay, yeah. But I'm glad. At
so
least now
what I don't know can't hurt me.
But yeah, so outside of work, what's something that has influenced you about design? Like,
or do you remember a portfolio, Jimmy? Sorry, I remember your portfolio, and I remember your work. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
No, now I'm curious. What about my work do you remember?
I remember you working on some music projects. Am I right? Were there music projects on your portfolio?
Music projects. I don't remember how far long back did I interview, but I have done work in music. I just don't remember which project have you seen.
Did I remember that? And I'm like, yeah, Jimmy Crasto music projects makes sense. I don't know. That was my. I was like, you should start a band.
Okay.
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So what has influenced you outside of work about design? Like, I know something I like doing is cooking because that gives me creative freedom. I know I told you that I usually don't get into design as much that I would like to, but cooking is something that really keeps me going. I feel like that's also art of expression. So what is it for you?
I think recently it's been painting.
Okay.
And pottery. Pottery was a while back. Now it's painting. I just like to dabble in different mediums. That sort of cooking for sure.
Okay.
But most of all, just being in forests. Like specifically being in forests, not beaches, not meadows, forests.
Okay.
Like I just feel like, that just feeds my soul.
So, like camping in a forest or just like for a walk?
Camping, trekking.
Okay.
Driving through whatever, like you just breathing a forest in. Have you like that feeling of being in a forest is just like how I think we were all supposed to be, and we've just forgotten that, and like it makes you alive again. And luckily, because I'm in Bangalore right now, we are surrounded by so many forests. We have access to so many.
Yeah.
But I just think, what we're doing with I don't think how many I don't know how many forests are going to sort of be left by the time we're old.
Yeah.
But I think that's for me it's a very lateral way. It's not, I know what you're getting at, like the creative process. So of course painting, cooking,
No, something that even draws
writing,
inspiration. I think like being
but for
in nature like inspires many people I know. So
smell of it, smelling stuff, Jimmy, like forest smell, like nose, right? I feel like as a designer, I think we have heightened senses, and I feel my sense of smell has gone post COVID. And I can feel that when I'm stressed, like when I'm doing, like you said, when you're doing the, what did you say? The create and what mode?
Sorry, the maker versus manager?
Maker, manager mode. So when you're manager mode, I think your sense of smell just dies. Like the first sense to go is smell. And you're just so focused and stressed and firefighting, and you don't smell things around you. And when you go into a forest, it just forces you to like drop all your like other mind shatter, and like you're just smelling and touching, and you know, I can't, like I only feel like people who are HSP, like highly sensitive people, can understand what I'm talking about. So I think I think opening up your senses essentially, but not through a spa or some shit. It's forests.
That's such a unique observation. Like I'm not seen it that way, even though like a lot of things that you're saying right now has happened to me, where I've stepped into nature. It's triggered another memory or childhood memory, or probably from design school or from somewhere else. I always heard like people talk about it as a sense of inspiration, but I've never really gotten that. But now that I think about it, that kind of makes sense.
Why is that? Why sense of inspiration? Yeah, exactly. It's not a random tree making you inspired. It's just, I think that's, I think a lot of your memories stay in your smell. Like there's certain rooms in your childhood you've entered and you remember the smell of that room. But now as an adult, I go to the same rooms and I don't smell it, and it makes me so uneasy, because I was like, where's that smell? Where's that? I can't smell it. You know?
Yeah.
So I think
that's essentially something I read about love. I feel like this, I remember reading this where it said that love is triggered by smell, right? Because the smell is something that you get off that person, and that triggers like your maternal instincts that you have within, and that is why you essentially end up loving that person. It's very subconscious driven. So
that is so sweet.
It's beautiful.
Did you recently got married? I see on Instagram.
It's been about 2 years.
2 years. Okay. And is she a designer as well?
No, she was in advertising, and now she was actually part of Culture Machine, which is when I remembered when you spoke about Culture Machine.
I'm like, I know that name. I'm like, I feel like I've heard that name.
I think you've also worked with her at Girl Effect. She was at Girl Effect.
There you go. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah. So I've seen.
I'm gonna take her name because the podcast.
Sorry.
Nice. I said I won't take her name because we're on a podcast, but yeah, interesting. Cool. Yeah, small world.
I've seen your work at Girl Effect as well. Like she used to show it to me, and it's like, I know, I've seen that kind of work.
Yeah. Girl Effect was so fun. Such a fun project.
Yeah. But coming to like, if you had to, speaking about young designers and strategists or creative people entering the industry, if they want to kind of build that cultural fluency that you currently have, what do they need to do from day one?
Be a nerd.
Learn everything. Be curious.
Be a nerd. Yeah, be curious and like get your head out of whatever you are in, and meet other people who are very opposite to you. Talk to people who have the exact opposite view as you. Go to villages, go to cities, go to meet people from different cultures and really ask questions like what you're doing, like genuinely want to get to know them and try to put yourself in their shoes and say, what if I had to do what they do and like live as they live? Are those some life choices that I would make? Like for me, those mental experiments are really fun because ultimately design is about designing for humans, right? And our job is to understand how other humans or other cultures would think and how would they make the same choices if they had to go buy soap or buy whatever, a watch or a pair of shoes, right? What are the life choices they're making? What are the things they are stuck with? So I think that, to me, just being curious about the world and people, and also reading books and watching movies and looking at art and engaging all your senses. I think, not being on your phone. Just don't be on your phone. Just laptop. Just get out of the world. Get out and see the real world. Because I know that's not going to be possible moving forward. It's getting worse and worse. But let's hope there is a full circle.
Newer people coming in, I think being on their phone, it could be like where they derive inspiration from, right? A lot of people kind of look at a lot of things that wasn't available when we didn't have access to phones, right? So I feel like that also can contribute to a bigger part of how they look at things.
I understand, but I feel like, in fact, I was just watching I was just watching some sort of videos on artists and looking at some Tate Gallery videos. Some stuff from David Hockney, right? And now I can basically look at 20 documentaries on David Hockney, look at his art online and like be like, cool, I know everything about him. But something doesn't trump it like that. Like the moment you go to London and you see that museum, and like in the museum there is a gallerist who's explaining every paint detail, and like that you being in that atmosphere of the UK or in California, wherever he was working. So he was both working in the UK and in California. He's British, but he worked in California. But understanding why that pool, the big splashes in the pool, what does California urbanism look like? Why are those lines so clean? Because California is perfect. If you go, it's like literally manicured. Their lawns there's not one grass out of place, right?
Okay.
Now, if you've never seen, I'm not saying everybody should travel the world, because I know everybody can't do that. But my point is, forget that. Forget David Hockney. But think of, Bastar. Bastar arts in Madhya Pradesh, the Madhya tribes. You're looking at those tribal tattoos. You can read about those tribal tattoos. You can get those tattoo designed by your normal store in Bandra or whatever. But if you go to Bastar and you look at them getting those tattoos in the forest, how they will have their mahua and they're sitting around, the women with their tattoos, and they get it when they're 15 years old. They go to a mela. Every mela there is a tattoo artist, and they will decide the code. But the totality of that atmosphere, the culture they come from, the socioeconomic play over there, what it means for them to get a tattoo, all that ke saath, if you see the tattoo now, then it's sort of the smells of the fragrance, like everything. That's when you know what that tattoo is, versus just watching it on your screen. You'll get the information, but you won't have the experience. And I hope that we are not going to just make a world where everything can be like sensed on a phone. I hope there is some reward of physically moving into a space, and like you came to local, you came to our office, you saw that. It's a very different experience than just seeing our website.
Of course.
Because your website also you get the same info, na?
Yeah.
But you came and you saw that what you just experienced.
Of course.
Clearly it did something to you. It sat in your memory somewhere, which maybe a website scroll wouldn't have. Like I don't think just looking at our website you would have remembered our website or us at all.
Yeah.
No,
I get what you mean. Yeah.
I think information is one thing, but experience is very different. No?
And what is that? So talking about the kind of work that you've done or the kind of work that you've experienced, what is it that, taking inspiration from all these things, what is that one thing that you would do differently as Roshnee? If you were given a chance?
Probably get a business partner.
Do you think that is important?
I don't think, I mean, if you find the right fit, a person who can take care of that part of it, yeah, that whole managerial part gets
Mm-hmm.
elevated, no? Like, you don't have to worry about bringing the
Mm-hmm.
money. You then only worry about creative direction. So
And do
in
you
that
think
sense,
that would
it is
contribute
nice,
to?
but it can be very, very risky, which is I've not got it till now
Hmm.
because it's very risky to get a person who don't
Of
vibe with,
course, yeah. And
you know?
if they don't align with you, then that's like your downfall
Yeah.
of your
It's
business.
much worse than being alone. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But do you think that would also contribute to faster growth at your agency if you did get someone?
100%.
Okay. I was actually just wrapping up, but yeah, thank you so much for being online and taking all the time. And
Thank you. It was
it was
really fun.
a great conversation. Yeah,
For me, it was like therapy.
yeah.
But I hope it helped you also to kind of maybe, I mean, I would love to know more about what you're doing and how your setup is and what your focus is, and if there's anything I can help you with. Yeah,
I
it'd be
think this
great.
conversation was really helpful. As I told you that I tend to get a lot of insights out of people I speak to. So
Of course.
this was really helpful. And yeah, if we can definitely do a call. I know you have to rush, but we can definitely do a call anytime you're available. You can just shoot me on LinkedIn and we can set up a call.